Hello, my name is Camelia Afika binti Hisham and I am from TO6.
Hello, I am Nur Izzatun Nadira.
And hello, my name is Muhammad Fitra Ibn Fazli.
Hi, I'm Nur Atira binti Matsari.
And today we will present the plot for the Animal Farm novel. So let's get it.
What is plot? Plot is the chain of connected events that make up a narrative. It refers to what actually occurs in a story and is one of storytelling's major pillars. Some will say that if characters are the who and the theme is the why, then the plot is the what of the story.
I'm going to explain about the exposition part of the plot, that is, meeting of all the animals in the big barn directed by old Major, the 12-year-old pig, as he claimed that he had a strange dream about it the previous night. Major's speech is the most important part of the chapter, and through it Orwell displays his great understanding of political rhetoric and how it can be used to move crowds in whichever direction the speaker wishes. By addressing his audience as comrades and prefacing his remarks with the statement that he will not be with the others many months longer, Major ingratiates himself to his listeners as one who has reached a degree of wisdom in his long life of 12 years and who views the other animals as equals, not a misguided rebel that needs advice and correction from a superior intellect. This notion that all animals are equal becomes one of the tenets of animalism, the philosophy upon which the rebellion will supposedly be based. Major argues that the earth could be a paradise if the tyranny of man was overthrown. He presents his fellow animals as victims of oppression and incapable of any wrongdoing. The flaw in Major's thinking, therefore, is the assumption that only humans are capable of evil, an assumption that will be overturned as the novel progresses. Although he tells his listeners, remove man from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. This will not prove to be the case. Major possesses great rhetorical skill. His barrage of rhetorical questions make his argument more forceful, as does his imagery of the cruel knife and the animals screaming their lives out at the block within a year. Major also specifically addresses man's tyranny in terms of how he destroys families, consumes without producing, withholds food, kills the weak, and prevents them from owning even their own bodies. Major uses slogans as well. All men are enemies, all animals are comrades, because he knows that they are easily grasped by listeners as simple-minded as boxer. The speech is a masterful example of persuasion, and his argument that a rebellion must take place is reminiscent of the one made by Patrick Henry to the House of Burgesses in Virginia, where he argued that a potential war with England was both inevitable and desirable. Of course, the irony of the entire episode in the barn is that the animals will eventually betray the ideal set forth by Major. He warns, for example, that the animal must never come to resemble their human oppressors. But by the end of the novel, the tyrannical pigs are indistinguishable from their human companions. Old Major's dream of an animal utopia will quickly become a totalitarian nightmare. The song Beasts of England is another way in which Major rouses his audience, although the narrator jokes that the tune is something between Clementine and La Caracha. The animals find it rousing and moving. The use of a song to stir the citizenry is an old political maneuver, and the lyrics of Beasts of England summarize Major's feeling about man. The song describes a day when all animals will overcome their tormentors. Symbols such as rings in their noses, harnesses, bits, spurs, and whips are used to convey the liberty that Major hopes one day will be won. Images of food and plenty also contribute to the song's appeal. That is all from me. I will hand over to Fitri.
So for the next event in the plot is when Napoleon betrays Snowballs. When winter is coming, Snowball has planned to build a windmill so that it can support the dynamo and supply the farm with electrical energy. But Napoleon are opposing his suggestion because he thinks that all the time they used to build the windmill can be used to produce food. One day, when Snowball was persuading the animals to vote him, Napoleon stood up casting a peculiar sidelong look at Snowball. Napoleon's bodyguard, which were dogs, chased Snowball until he slipped onto a hole and was not seen anymore. Then Napoleon took the lead of the animal farm and declared that Snowball was a betrayer. He also said that all the windmill plan was advocated by him. He also added that the plan was stolen by Snowball from him. So, in this event, we can see how cruel Napoleon was towards Snowball. He is willing to do everything just to replace Snowball as the leader of the animal farm. So, for me as the leader, we should not take Napoleon as example because of all the bad things he did. But we must take Snowball as example because of his smartness. He could plan to build a windmill even though we know that building a windmill was an impossible thing to animals. So the impact for the windmills towards this novel is it can support the dynamo and supply electrical energy for the farm. The windmill also can light the stalls and warm them in winter, and will also run a circular saw and a chaff cutter. So then I'm passing this presentation to Izatun Nadio.
Hi, I am Dear, and now I'm going to talk about Box's death and why it is important. The summary of the event is the animals begin building a new windmill. Their efforts are again led by Boxer, who, despite his split hoof, insists on working harder and getting the windmill started before he retires. Once his hoof heals, Boxer works as hard as he can at building the windmill until the day he collapses because of a lung ailment. When the vet arrives to take Boxer to the hospital, however, Benjamin reads inside and learns that Boxer is actually being taken to a necker. Squealer tells them that Boxer was not taken to a necker, but that the vet had bought the necker strap and had not yet repainted the words on its side. The animals are relieved when they hear this. Next, a grocer's van delivering a crate of whiskey to the pigs, who drink it all and do not arise until afternoon the following day. It looks as if Boxer's death is going to have a huge impact. We sort of expect that the protest that erupts when he is taken away will end up making a difference, but nothing happens, and Squealer's explanation of his death smooths everything over. The rest of the animals either believe what Squealer says, or maybe they are too afraid to go against the pig. Boxer's death is the end product of all the different ways the pigs have been abusing and manipulating the other animals. In his life, Boxer was the most valuable laborer. He was the strongest, most hardworking, and the most ignorant. Not only did he help the pigs build their projects, he also did some propaganda on the side. We would have think that the pigs would treat him much better, but they simply didn't. To have the pigs sell him off for money is to show just how little the pigs actually care for the animals. To the pigs, Boxer was only worth keeping around so long as he could continue working for them. In conclusion, Boxer's death has no impact in the way that we might have think. It does not cause the animals to rise up against the pigs. All that happened is that the pigs used Boxer as a hero to try to bolster their rule. Despite being Napoleon's most loyal follower, Boxer still didn't get the treatment that he deserved. Instead of being taken to the vet, Boxer was led to his own death. And now I'm passing it on to Camellia.
Hey, it's Camellia here to present the final event for the plot presentation. I named the final scene as the event where the present reverts back to the past. As we all know, the current situation for the animals at the farm is not any better than the life under Mr. Jones. there's no improvement in the living condition, with the exception of the pigs and the dogs. They are living the best life, the pigs and the dogs. They never did any labor, but still received the best treatment. And it's all thanks to Squealer, with his manipulating words that makes the status of the pigs seem more important than the rest. You know, this reminds me of the time when Major talks about how man is the only creature that consumes without producing, and if animals remove man from the scene, the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. Yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire, getting rid of Mr. Jones only to end up with another oppressor. It is very unfortunate for the animals. However, one may wonder, what went wrong? They had it figured out with their animalism, the 7 commandments and all. Well, I believe it is because of the boiling frog strategy. Rather than changing the whole commandment at once, the pigs slowly change it one by one, and the less intelligent animals just go along with it, since they can't read nor write. So they believe every word that comes out of the pig's mouth, without questioning the intent behind it. In the end, all the commandments were changed. The commandments that were supposed to be fair for all were changed to suit the pigs. They were reduced to one in the end, which is all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. What does some animals are more equal than others mean? It's not equality if there are some being treated better than others. It is clear that the state of the animals is the same as they were with Mr. Jones. There is no equality for them, only different status. Plus, the change from Animal Farm to Manor Farm shows that the pigs have no intention for equality. One may ask, will there be a rebellion against the pigs? I don't think it will happen in the near future. With the lack of intellectual amongst the animal, and no father figure like Major to spark the rebellion, it will be hard for them to step out of their comfort zone and break out from Napoleon's shell. They still hold on to the fact that they are the only animals to be governed by animal. It's funny because the one on top is acting human-like. So are they actually in control? To conclude, the Gnome's story plot will have the usual exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. However, for this novel, I believe that it does not have any resolution. In fact, one may perceive the ending to be a climax. After all, the problem is not resolved. Not only the farm is still under the dictatorship of Napoleon, the pigs are slowly but surely turning to their old owner, taking on many human behaviors such as walking on 2 feet, carrying whips, and wearing clothes. In the end, even the animals find it hard to see the difference between pigs and humans. That is all from us today. Thank you for listening. We hope you have a great day.